Cool.
Sorry, I texted my wife.
Mate.
They're on their way.
The whole family?
My wife and my 2 sons. My son Ace's first fight. 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a place to bring your lad to
Tell you
watch
what,
Dad do his
I know,
job.
it's going to be funny. So your first fight ever, you're fighting on the South Lawn of the White House, the president's house. They're not all like this, buddy, okay?
No.
I fought in Indian reservation casinos. I fought in front of 50 people at a Holiday Inn.
Mate, you've raised his expectations now. You know what I mean?
I know.
If you take him anywhere else after the back of this, he's not going to be impressed at all.
He's like, what is this? Madison Square Garden? Ugh.
Rubbish. You've been in this situation before, career-wise, and I want to take you back to 2014. I'm talking about streaks. And Derek Campos was in front of you, and you ended that streak of 3 back-to-back losses. Are you feeling a similar mentality coming into this one at the weekend against Mauricio Ruffy?
Honestly, no. I actually had this question come up in an interview 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't even feel like I'm on a loss streak. I guess I don't really... You know, back then it was like the streaks and the wins and the belts and all that stuff was all of the currency that I was trading with, right? And now it's chasing legacy and it's chasing massive fights. It's continuing to show the world who I am. It doesn't feel like that anymore. And granted, you know, back then it was different because I lost to a couple guys that some viewers don't even know who they are because it was back in Bellator. They never saw the fights, but you know, you lose to Charles Oliveira, you lose to Dustin Poirier, 2 first ballot Hall of Famers, and then you lose, you know, it was the worst performance of my career to Paddy Pimblett, who then gets the title shot. You know, a streak is a streak. It's 3 losses in a row, I guess, but you know, in that Derek Campos fight was big for me. I had a knee surgery 9 weeks before that fight.
Yeah.
Still didn't pull out of the fight. Still to this day, 25 years of hand-to-hand combat. Never missed weight, never pulled out of a fight. I'm the most reliable guy in the sport. So when you got that, I know how to prepare. I'm excited to go out there and this one feels different.
Well, on that, is it because of location or is it just because of the maturity, the way that you've developed, not only as a man but also as a fighter over the last 5 to 10 years? Yeah,
it's tough, right? Because I get the question, hey, as an American, do you feel an obligation for America to win on the White House lawn? And I don't. I don't really care about the venue as much as people might think. I don't really care about who's in attendance. I don't even care that my family's here as much. Like I really am so selfish in this training camp in my mentality that this one is for me. And you know, coming into the UFC at 2021, 34-year-old veteran, I had something to prove, and I proved it against the best guys in the world, win or lose. I still made you feel something. Fight of the year after fight of the year, fight of the night after fight of the night.
You're the bonus king, man.
I'm the bonus king, and it's like I make people feel something. You feel something different when Chandler fights, and I think but now it's different. This one is about me, and it's for me.
What are you searching for? Because it feels like you're looking for something. What is that?
I feel like I've just underperformed in so many ways, whether it's losing fights that I could have won or should have won, whether it's having bad performances, whether it's getting in my own head, whether it's, you know, getting focused on the wrong things. And this one's very easy to get focused on the wrong things. I could be like, hey, it's a win no matter what to fight on the White House. It's a win no matter what to represent America on her 250th birthday. It's a win no matter what being on the biggest card in combat sports history. But that's not enough for me. I'm going to get my hand raised. I've got a game plan. I've put together. Nobody in the history of mixed martial arts has prepared like Michael Chandler. Nobody has done a training camp like a Chandler training camp. And that's, maybe I haven't won every single fight. Maybe I haven't fought to the best of my ability, but I have prepared like I was fighting for the world title. I was preparing like a champion every single fight, and this fight is no different.
When you're in that octagon, how easy is it or difficult is it to not be the true essence of Michael Chandler? And what I mean by that is, you're obviously a fighting man. You like a fight. How easy is it to detach yourself from that? And as you're talking about game plans and sticking to the actual things that will win you the fight, how easy or difficult is that to do?
Well, judging by my past performances, and if history is any predictor of the future, it's very hard, I would say. But as I said, the mentality is different, and this one does feel different. And as I've said about Mauricio Ruffy and other fighters in this sport, there's people who grow up watching the UFC when they're 9 years old with their dad on the couch, and they're like, and there's the ones who watch the YouTube highlights and they want to be a UFC fighter. I've never been that. I've always been an absolute warrior. I've always been an absolute vessel of violence. On the wrestling mat, I never wanted to be flashy. I wanted to break your spirits. In the octagon, in fighting, I never wanted to be flashy. I want to break your spirit. I want to impose my will. I want to stand over your lifeless body after I have pulled every ounce out of you. So I think that's the difference in this fight. He's a guy who wants to be an MMA UFC fighter and play a video game, and I'm a guy who wants to go out there and snatch his soul.
For the last couple of years, you've been linked heavily with Conor, right? The untrained now, when I look at the stylistic matchup of this at the weekend, you can see, silhouette-wise, you can see the similarities between what Mauricio does and what Conor does, the way they stand, the way they throw their shots. Do you see that, or am I completely off on a different page?
No, I see it. I see a young kid who wanted to be like Conor McGregor, sitting on his couch and studying YouTube videos. I mean, I think that's what I see, but this sport is not for the faint of heart. You know, when those shots don't land, and ultimately you could get lucky and they're going to land, but when they don't land, who are you? When you look at yourself in the mirror and you have to ask yourself the question, who am I as a man, as a fighter? You have to ask yourself the question, am I enough? Do I believe? Can I get in the suck? Can I be down in the valley? Can I walk through fire?
Do you enjoy that place?
That
dark place. Do you enjoy it?
I live in that place. I was born in that place in High Ridge, Missouri. My parents taught me how to be in that place, and I've done nothing but pursue deeper, darker, more painful corners of that place since I was a freaking kid, and that's all I've done. All I've done since I was 14 years old. And I've constantly watched people fall by the wayside with these big, illustrious dreams and these talking a big game, but they didn't want to actually do the work. They didn't want to actually put the work in. Their vision and view of what hard work is was like my warm-up, was like a good night's sleep for me, and that's what I've done. And I don't say that to impress you, but I say that to impress upon you that this sport is not for the faint of heart, and there's different types of fighters in this sport, and I've enjoyed it. Like I said, you can look at my record, you can look at my resume, you can say he lost to this guy, he lost to that guy. One thing you can't say is that my fights are forgettable. You will never forget how you felt when Michael Chandler steps in the octagon.
Absolutely. Would you say that is your biggest strength, what goes on between your ears?
Hell yeah. Yes, 100%. When a man has drugged himself through hell, like nothing else can even come close to it, you know? And I think there's people who are they're afraid of that. And you know, do I have my doubts? Of course I do. I'm a human being. Do I have my insecurities? Of course I do. I'm a human being. But being willing to go and engage in a firefight and go to the deepest, darkest depths, man, it's like I do that every day. And my training partners will tell you that. My coaches will tell you that. I'm a little bit of a psychopath. Like the guy who's sitting here today is different than the guy who's going to be in the workout room tonight, or the guy who's in the gym, or the guy who's going to be in the octagon on Sunday night. And I'm happy I have him. You know, I think God has blessed me with the ability to be this guy outside the octagon who, like, I would love to sit and hang out with you and have a pint and like talk about great things in life and love and joy and happiness. But then there's that freaking psychopath on the other end of the spectrum who is different, who you don't want to be friends with or come into contact with, or my wife or my kids or my family. And luckily I get to live somewhere closer to this end of the spectrum in real life, so I don't end up in jail.
You get to do it legally, man.
Yes, exactly.
It feels like asking you a question of what happens after this would be silly, because I don't think your brain is even thinking beyond Sunday evening right now.
No, it's not. I think the UFC is going to have some really tough decisions to make after this fight. I think I love Gaethje and Topuria. I love that fight. I love Cyril and I love Alex Pereira. I mean, Alex Pereira can steal the show by becoming a three division world champion, but I believe what I'm going to do on Sunday is going to put me in a position where we kind of forgot about Michael Chandler. We kind of wrote him off a little bit. We kind of said, hey, he's pushing 40. He lost to this guy, lost to that guy. Maybe he's lost his touch. And what I'm going to do to Mauricio Ruffy, emphatically with an exclamation mark, is going to put me back inside the top 8 in the world. Massive amount of momentum. There's going to be a promo, I'm sure. There's going to be some buzz. There's going to be some things happening where everybody's going to be talking about it. And all of a sudden I've got this momentum and I've got options, and some of those options are not seen yet. And, we're gonna get back to the drawing boards and see what we do next.
Mike, I always love watching you fight.
Yes,
Go
sir.
well, my man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.